Sport has changed us all. This is something that every single person in this room has an idea about how sport has impacted our lives. It's a deeply rooted love and fandom that we all carry. There is no city in the country that understands this love better than the city of champions. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with over 16 professional sports titles, loves their teams and deeply values their community. And they know one thing: it's time to celebrate. It's time to celebrate our sports, it's time to celebrate our community, and it's time to celebrate our history. For the city that has had the first professional football game, that has hosted the first World Series in the United States, it is time to host the first birthday party for sports. Now, you may be asking yourself, why a birthday party? Well, when you think of a birthday party, everybody already has the image in their mind. Everybody's already experienced one of these before. Especially for marketing, being able to have an instant brand recognition of a reputation that we want to be able to build for this event. And why Pittsburgh? Well, Pittsburgh isn't the birthplace of sport, but you also don't celebrate your birthday in the same place that you were born. You really be able to find a way to immerse yourself in the culture, the arts, the history, and the experience around Pittsburgh. Our team, comprised of diverse individuals, has really risen to the challenge of being able to build a 3-day, 2-night event that's able to capitalize on being able to bring people to Pittsburgh in and out of town. After talking with our client, Sport Pittsburgh, we were able to identify 3 key objectives: the people, being able to drive the attendance and be able to increase the number of hotel stays; the city, creating positive economic impact and gaining good brand reputation; and finally, the future. Find a way to make the event self-sustaining and to be able to have an annual repetition of the event so we can keep growing this for future generations.
As mentioned, our client was Sports Pittsburgh, and we want to identify that they are part of Visit Pittsburgh. And what's really important about this is they're currently funded by the Pittsburgh hotel tax. So as we go throughout this presentation, we're really going to drive home the fact that we're trying to build individuals that are going to stay at hotels. We want to increase that hotel revenue to then go back to Sport Pittsburgh. So while we're going through this presentation, you'll see numerous aspects where we're tying that connection back to driving the number of stays. So today we're going to focus on the city of Pittsburgh and what makes it so special. As you can see in this picture, Pittsburgh has this location on 3 rivers, and at Point Place Park is where we're really going to focus the rest of this presentation, because what other city has an amazing location like that? They, as Quinn mentioned, also have this cultural phenomenon of art and science and sports, so let's capitalize on that. So before we get into the logistics and itinerary of the event, we want to mention that we're going to really revolve around data collection, because an event of this size really needs to capitalize on that. We're going to utilize data collection through our virtual ticket, which, as pictured here, will include the demographic and information of our different participants, and then once they fill this out, it will turn into a QR code that they'll scan to get into different events, whether it's free or paid. Every event you're trying to go to, you'll scan your QR code so we can track where they're attending. So now let's dive into this. We're at a birthday party. We're celebrating the birthday of sport. So let's have fun. You know, when you first get to a birthday, you're meeting and greeting, trying to create that social atmosphere, getting away from that awkwardness. So let's do a kickoff. At the point, we're going to have a welcome party, and this is going to be the opening of the huddle. The huddle is our central hub, and you can think of it as the central party room. When you're at a party, the place that has the food, it has the events, like this is our main hub that's going to be going on throughout the entirety of the weekend. This is going to have constant activity, and then we're also going to focus on one big event every day, because remember, we're pushing that hotel stay, so we don't want them to come to one event and then leave the next day. We want them to come back day after day. So after the welcome party, our big event for Friday is this boat parade. Since we're a city with 3 rivers, why not capitalize on that? So let's do a lighted boat parade that involves locals that allow them to compete and decorate their boat for who has the best decoration, but also involve non-locals by doing a partnership with some local boat companies to make them a part of it. So let's light up Pittsburgh with this event and really emphasize what makes Pittsburgh unique. Now on to day 2. We've already gone past the social awkwardness of the birthday party, and now we're just ready to have some fun with our friends. So in day 2, we're going to have events at the main stage at that huddle throughout the entirety of the day, such as yoga, dance competition. But we're also going to utilize kind of like an explore the city style with our choose your own adventure. This is going to consist of a scavenger hunt that consists of sports and history of the city if you're into that. Or if you're a foodie and you want to experience the food and drink and pub culture of the city, go on the pub and food crawl. We also want to feature non-traditional sports because this is a very inclusive event. So we don't want to keep it to traditional sports. So we're going to have an esports hub that is at that main hub throughout the day. And then, everyone asks, is like hot dog eating, pierogi eating contest a thing? Is it a sport? Well, we're making it one during our celebration. So we're doing a pierogi eating contest to make it like in line with the culture of Pittsburgh. And then finally, we're gonna wrap it up with a big party at the end. Keep people there late so they have to stay that night and be there until the next day. So we picked Wiz Khalifa because he is local to the Pittsburgh area and he kind of creates that atmosphere. And who better to scream black and yellow than Wiz Khalifa at our first concert? And this concert will be at PPG Arena because we think it'll create that intimate atmosphere, but also make it a paid event to build revenue. Then finally, day 3 is this day of community. You're at a birthday party because you want to celebrate being with each other in that social atmosphere. So we're really emphasizing the community in this one. So one of our first activations that we want to do is bring back some retired athletes for autograph sessions, a chance to kind of talk about their experiences. Someone we think that would be really amazing is like Billie Jean King, who's a generational athlete and can connect the young and the old and create that like family-friendly atmosphere. And you can't have a birthday without cake, so a way to get people to come back to the hub after they've explored the city is we're just going to do a little cake pop celebration. And at this time, we're going to create this collectible, one-of-a-kind item that people can buy with a collectible medal that will be created by a local artist to help uplift the economy. And we just wanted to quickly address the market size. So currently we're shooting for 80,000, but we want to show the potential growth by looking at our different sport fans from the tri-state, the US, and the North American market. Now we understand 405 million seems like an absurd amount, and we're not shooting for that. We just want to show the potential that could happen with this event.
Yeah, so as Lauren mentioned, that addressable market is huge, but when we were figuring out how are we going to really attract 80,000 people to our event, we really wanted to focus on 4 key consumer markets. Of course, our event is sport focused, but that wasn't the only mindset of the consumer that we wanted to focus on. We want our event to really be all encompassing, so we wanted to focus on the family friendly, the foodies, and the cultural enthusiasts as well, and really showcase Pittsburgh in that way. When looking at how our event relates to other events in Pittsburgh and how we truly think we stand out, we think that we sit at the epicenter of these 4 key consumer mindsets. So other events in Pittsburgh offer great things and other attractions that sit for the sports fanatic, the foodie, for the cultural enthusiast, and they are family friendly, but none of them really sit at the core center, and that's where we truly think we differentiate ourselves and how we can showcase Pittsburgh as being a cultural phenomenon. So how will we attract these people? When looking at the buyer's funnel, we really want to focus at that top level and building awareness around this event, especially as it hasn't been done before. And then we want to push them down that funnel and reach them to coming to the event and purchasing a ticket and really experiencing what we think is going to be a great experience. So how we achieve this? Well, first, our idea was to advertise on the New Heights podcast. And this is because the Kelsey brothers, who are local to this area in the Midwest, they have a great reputation and just were named the #1 sports podcast. Additionally, I want to point out the social media targeted ads and the billboards to get that out of area fan to really want to come to Pittsburgh and be a part of the fun. Next, as we move down the funnel, we really want to be involved in the community and show ourselves doing little pop-up events and showcase what this event can be and how special it can be with experiential marketing, specifically in the Pittsburgh area. As we go down that funnel, we want to make sure that people love our event and that they really will want to stay and become loyal fans. These are just some examples of that awareness piece, and we've really chosen to do these billboards to showcase some examples of guerrilla marketing and how we can use that guerrilla marketing and not necessarily partner with these sports fans, but we can be in these major cities and find that fan who wants to come to Pittsburgh who is outside of the area. So our estimated reach. We really chose to focus that budget of $150,000 in marketing. We wanted to focus that on gaining that awareness funnel of the buyer's funnel. So with that, we think that we can reach over 2.68 million people that are interested in this event to build that attendance and reach that attendance goal of 75,000. Now, with this, we do want to point out that there are some internal and external constraints in this. And although we are very optimistic about reaching all these consumers and figuring out who's interested in this event, we do want to point that out. So I'll start with some strengths of this event. We really think that this is repeatable and reoccurring. A birthday inherently is annual. You expect that to be year after year after year. So we really think that can be repeatable. And we think that we have accessible and diverse offerings that really showcase Pittsburgh as a whole and allow us to stand out and be that sports place that everyone wants to come to. A lot of our weaknesses have to do with us being in our first year of this event. We've got to build awareness and build a strong brand around this. And a lot of that has to do with what our marketing goals are and how we think we can build excitement around this. We think we have some great opportunities. As Lauren mentioned, this target demographic is giant, and we really think that we can extend that market and increase attendance year over year. And then with that, we can increase our partnerships. As far as threats, there's threats of those conflicting events and other things going on. And then also, we feel that this could be replicable in other cities, but we really think that Pittsburgh has that cultural phenomenon that makes it what it is, and we plan to trademark this event.
So if anyone's feeling a little sleepy, it's time to talk about money. So for this event, we had an allocated budget of $800,000. And as you guys can see on our slide, we detailed and listed our budget out very carefully. We ended up using the entire budget that we were allocated, but like I said, we did it with purpose. And so what we wanted to do was make sure that each part of our budget was dedicated to those foodies, the cultural enthusiasts, those sports fanatics, but also make this event family friendly. It's a birthday party. So as you can see, we listed them out and we used market research and comparables in order to allocate this money and give estimates and projections that are somewhat accurate. Now, this event needs to be revenue generating, and so it has to be an event that we can simulate and continue to do year over year. And so what we did is we didn't just generate one revenue stream, but we have multiple. So again, as you can see on our slide, we have different forms of revenue on the left-hand side that continue to form and generate revenue each year that we conduct this big birthday party bash. On the right-hand side, you can see that it's our ticket strategy. And so on our ticket strategy, we actually break them out into different categories. We have that media pass, we have the Hall of Famer, and we have the foodies. Each of these passes have different attributes and are unique to that pass itself. So people can either buy these passes beforehand, buy them day of, but the unique portion of our event is it's also free. And so the events that Lauren had listed earlier, those are not free events. You get access with those for the pass. However, if you want to go in the huddle, you want to experience, you want to be with the community, you can still walk up to the event day of, submit that information that we have available on the QR code, get that QR code to go back into the event and roam around, hang out with everyone. And so anyone that's walking around Pittsburgh that day can join our event for free. Now, I would be remiss not to mention our partnership strategy. And so what we did is we broke our partnerships out into 4 different tiers. And we obviously made a sports play on each of them. So we have our gold, our silver, our bronze, and our partner pass. And unique to our ticket strategy, each of these partnership strategies also have attributes that are unique specific to their level. And so those that would invest in the gold would get different attributes than those that would invest in the partner strategy. And I want to show that we were very careful about the partners that we did select, and they are unique to Pittsburgh, have a feel, have a tie back to Pittsburgh, so we still want to drive that culture. However, each of these companies have power for the people, they're doing good for the community, and some of which I assume the entire room potentially recognizes are nationally recognized brands, which would help drive the awareness for this event itself. We're proud to say that in the first year of our event, based on our projections, it actually would have a net income that's positive. Not very many events of this magnitude can run with net positive revenue generation, and we're very excited to say that our estimates conclude that ours could. Additionally, what we want to talk about is the economic impact that this would provide to Pittsburgh. And so therefore, if we brought 80,000 attendees to year one, the economic stimulation would be wildly successful. It would have 9.5 million estimated revenue or money spent from these attendees throughout the economy, and that relates to transportation, bars and restaurants, and especially lodging, which is one of our big concerns. Of those 80,000, this is where a lot of the hotel revenue generation would come from. It's the 12,000 out-of-town individuals that would stay overnight. So as you can see on the bottom of the slide, and for those in the back, 2.8 million spent for the attendees that are coming from out of town of economic stimulation. So of that, the revenue generation from the hotel portion, which feeds directly into Sports Pittsburgh, is dramatic. And lastly, everyone in this room knows that data is driving all decisions right now. And so if we put on an event of this magnitude and we didn't tie data back into some of the things that we were capturing, it would be a failure. And so each of the components that we talked about today have a data piece tied to it that we're tracking throughout the event. So what we have listed right here is one of the in and out marketing KPIs. And what I want to touch on is the post-event survey. Because of the ticket system that we have in place, we capture emails from every single attendee. And so we can send post-survey follow-ups to see how the event went and how we can get better in the future birthday parties that we celebrate. Additionally, like our ticket system, we think this is a really key and core strategy that we have. We can track where attendees go throughout the course of the 3 days. We can track their demographics, which they have to submit when they get this ticket. And lastly, we can measure some ROIs that are important for any stakeholders that are involved. Lastly, hotels. We want to track hotel usage and stays before, during, and after the event. I think this gives us a really quick and easy way to know how many attendees come to Pittsburgh for this event itself. And lastly, a lot of hotels do surveys of how the reception of their local city is. So therefore, individuals that came for our event could take a survey about Pittsburgh after and see how their perception has either changed or enhanced due to our birthday bash.
So now where do we go from here? Wanting to be able to build this event annually, we really want to be able to focus on where we can be able to grow. We're thinking in the second year, starting partnerships with some of the pro teams in the area, being able to bring them in to help bring a revenue draw. Being able to host youth tournaments so people are able to come, bring their kids, and be able to see sports in one of its most purest and authentic forms. And then in the second year, this is where we really think we have the chance to truly make a global phenomenon. This would be the only annual celebration of sports in that form. So we believe that we can be able to increase our marketing globally, inviting champion teams, and be able to invite fans from all over the world to make this event truly magnificent. So listen, it's time to change the game. It's time to celebrate with us here in Pittsburgh. We truly believe that Pittsburgh is the perfect home for what we're doing here, the perfect epicenter between sports, culture, arts, and community. We know that this event can be super successful, and we know that it can bring people who may not have visited Pittsburgh previously to see what an amazing city that it is. It's time for us to change the game, and it's time for us to celebrate in Pittsburgh.
But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like rain. Let the waters fall, let them rain.
Thank you all so very much for your time, and we'll open to any questions you may have.